Mr. Chairman, the last person on my list, and my formal list to speak to this is Martha Boneta herself. And I'd like to...
Martha, let's go. Hey, Martha.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir, and members of the subcommittee for the opportunity to speak to you today. It's an honor and a privilege. My name is Martha Boneta, and as a Virginian, as a farmer, and as a landowner, I fully support the Virginia Right to Farm Act. It honors our rich agricultural heritage and seeks to ensure that our heritage doesn't simply become a part of our history, but continues as part of the incredibly diverse economic and cultural landscape that is the beautiful Commonwealth of Virginia. The tension between agriculture and other ways of life is very real. And that tension threatens the very principles that the Virginia Right to Farm Act is designated to protect. The principle that agriculture uses should be supported and protected as a viable way of life, and as a viable continuing use for our treasured land. Those principles can only be protected when local governments truly understand that farming cannot be unreasonably regulated or treated as a nuisance. But I'm not here to speak of what has happened to us. I'm here because if this can happen to our little farm, then it can happen to any farmer in Virginia. And it shouldn't happen to anyone. As truly and deeply honored as I am to hear this bill called the Boneta Bill, this isn't about our little farm. It's about property rights, economic freedom, and the American dream. But I can tell you that we've learned a lot from this experience. We've learned firsthand about the pressure, worry, and fear that can come from local government. But we also know what it feels like to have farmers from all over Virginia reach out to us and support us, to say that they're with us, that they want our small Virginia family farms to be viable and flourish. And now we know what it's like to see our government actively support what we are doing. Owning a farm was my lifelong dream. I grew up in Mount Vernon, and I was told that our yard had once been a part of George Washington's vast farmland. My mom always had a kitchen garden, and she said that the soil was so rich because of George Washington's pigs. So I grew up with a real sense of the long history of Virginia farming, and I dreamed very much of being a part of that story. About 6 years ago, that dream became a reality, and our family had the joy of watching our crops grow. There is something so powerfully and fundamentally Virginian about farming. There were farms in Virginia before there was a United States of America. It's our heritage, and it's not just our economic heritage, it's our cultural heritage, and it's our historic heritage. Now, I'm a first-generation farmer, but I know firsthand how much pressure there is on our small family farms to make ends meet. And the truth is, if these farms, these small family farms, can't do that, can't make ends meet, then we will lose them. And once you've lost farmland as a community, and we all know that to be true, they're lost forever. So it's about supporting small business, which is something we hear and talk about a lot, right? But also supporting agriculture as a viable business and a way of life in Virginia. This bill, introduced by Delegate Lingenfelter, is about putting a little bit more detail into the common understanding of what farming practices are, and to make sure that the intent of the Virginia Right to Farm Act makes its way into the practical reality of how local governments treat our small family farms. I am so truly grateful for the opportunity to address you this evening, and I thank you for allowing me to do so on behalf of myself and my fellow farmers throughout Virginia and here today. Thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Farmer is a cornerstone.